It's hard to express how excited all of us at Bethesda are to be here with you today. We're so grateful you're spending the time, and we know you've waited a long time to finally see Starfield. It's easily our most ambitious game ever. Like our previous games, it's an epic role-playing game where you get to be who you want and go where you want. But this time, you'll be exploring space. So let's jump right in. This is early in the game as you arrive on the mysterious moon of Crete.
According to the scanners, the abandoned research facility is in this direction. It would appear that pirates of the Crimson Fleet are using the facility.
Hey, there you are!
After some initial encounters, you're invited to join Constellation, who, in the future the game is set in, are the last group of space explorers. To meet them, you'll head to the capital city of New Atlantis.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about. We're all here because we're committed to the biggest question of all. What's out there? These artifacts could be everything we've been looking for. As to what they are, what they're building, you'll be part of solving that puzzle now.
So, you found something?
The new guy found it.
You dug up the artifact, right? That means you saw it. The visions?
The artifact you found appears to be one of many, scattered across the galaxy. If we can find more, we can unlock their secrets.
Beautiful, isn't it? The man who sold me this told me that it spoke to him.
Of course, the Settled Systems is full of groups with other priorities.
That's the Crimson Fleet!
Everybody get ready!
The fleet doesn't follow the rules. Agree to work for UCC, Steph. And together, we take down these cutthroat pirates.
We're not just here to shoot the bad guys. We're peacekeepers. We protect the people of the Freestar Collective. When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet, no one quits. The only way out is death.
The path ahead may be dangerous, but we are not stopping.
Most Dusties don't even make it this far.
Because whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever.
That gives you a look at the stories in Starfield. But ultimately, it's not our story, it's the story you create by who you are and the choices you make. And that starts with character creation. It's our most flexible yet. You can customize all the elements of how you look. You'll pick a background that gives you 3 starting skills.
Says here you spent some time as a diplomat. Having a way with words might prove useful.
There are optional traits, and these come with unique advantages and disadvantages. But it's not just in how you can look, but in how your character plays and develops. The skill system combines the best from our previous games, and you can unlock new skills as you level up, and then you rank those skills up by using them and completing challenges. And there's deep crafting systems, from running research projects with the resources you find to crafting weapon mods needed to survive. And you can build your own outposts. These act as a home away from home for survival and resource generation. You can choose where and how to build each one, and you can hire characters you meet to keep it up and running. But that's not all. You can even build your own spaceships. You can choose crew members, and yes, you can completely customize the look and layout. There's loads of different modules, ship manufacturers, and more. I have to say, it's so cool. We just absolutely love this. It's not just how the ship looks, it's how it performs, from engines to shields to weapon systems, because yes, you can fly it.
Thrusters boosted.
We can't wait for all of you to experience the game. Thanks again for being with us today, and thanks for all the support you've given us over the decades, especially on this game. It's been an incredible journey for us making it, but we know that's really only the beginning, for it's when all of you play it that the real journey begins. And you may be wondering, just how big is this game? So we thought we'd take one last moment and show you. Let's take a look at one of our planets, Jemison. You can land into Atlantis, but you can also land and explore anywhere on the planet. And it's not just this planet, it's all the planets in the system. From barren but resource-heavy ice balls to Goldilocks planets with life. And not just this system, but over 100 systems. Over 1,000 planets, all open for you to explore. We can't wait to see what you find.
On behalf of Hexworks, welcome to the Lords of the Fallen Gameplay Showcase. Today, we're taking a closer look at our all-new dark fantasy action RPG, arriving this October on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Spiritual successor to the original 2014 release, it acts as a full reboot for the franchise, taking place in a vast, interconnected world over 1,000 years later. Featuring colossal boss battles, fast, challenging combat, and deep, immersive storytelling, players will journey across two parallel realms in this expansive RPG experience. The world of the living, Axiom, and the world of the dead, Umbral, with each featuring its own unique pathways, characters, enemies, and, of course, treasures. And while Axiom presents its own challenges, untold horrors await in its nightmarish counterpart. Thanks to the Umbral Lamp, players can enter this lightless world at any time in one of two ways. When slain by the foes of Axiom, at which point you'll resurrect in the same location, albeit in Umbral, or by performing the Umbral Rift and willingly sacrificing one of your 2 lives. But the lamp holds yet more power, granting the ability to flay the soul from an enemy for some high damage attacks, and even manipulate the very environment of the Umbral world. However, the longer you spend in this wraith-ridden plane, the greater number of spectral terrors that will hunt you down. But as harrowing as the Hellions of Umbral are, they pale in comparison to the game's brutal boss battles. Towering above the ever-burning city of Kalrath, this gargantuan monstrosity doesn't take kindly to would-be adventurers, the demonic presence within ready to devour any and all within sight. A merciless torturer, prepared to carry out any atrocity in the name of his faith. Tancred, Master of Castigations, is the devout chaplain of the hallowed Sentinels. Though beneath the pious veil, his very own flesh conceals a truth most foul. When Harrower Dervla ventured into the deepest depths of this world to thwart the Undead Rising, what she discovered was so utterly horrific that she renounced her former life in commitment to a far darker oath. Pre-order Lords of the Fallen now, and prepare to unleash the darkness on Friday the 13th of October.
myself, my name is H to the OV. I used to move snowflakes by the OC. I guess even back then you can call me CEO of the ROC. Fresh out the frying pan into the fire. I be the music band's #1 supplier. Flying in a piece of paper bearing my name. Got the hottest chick in the game wearing my chain. That's right. Not DOC, but similar to the letters. No one can do it better. You can blame Sean, but I ain't invent the game. I just rolled the dice trying to get some change.
It's sometimes difficult to reconcile that Diablo 3 is over a decade old. Its release was polarizing for a number of reasons, but its evolving formula of action role-playing endured, enjoying a resurgence with its post-launch expansion that carried through years of ongoing seasonal updates. It shouldn't come as a surprise then that each of those years helped inform the design of Diablo 4, a game which confidently delivers gameplay that has been carried forward and refined from Diablo 2 and 3, while also establishing a strong foundation for the franchise's future. Diablo games have always contained stories for their single-player campaigns, but you'd be forgiven for thinking of past storylines as merely contextualization for the game's primary focus, dungeon crawling. That's where Diablo 4 makes one of its most striking changes. It not only takes its story far more seriously, but it tells one that's far more engrossing than ever before. As a traveling wanderer, you come across a small town of villagers on a snow-capped mountain range looking for some aid. After killing some creatures and returning, you're welcomed as a hero and given food and shelter, only for the villagers to try and use you in a ritual sacrifice to Lilith, co-creator of Sanctuary and recently resurrected antagonist of this tale. This encounter links you to Lilith, driving you forward on a quest to stop her plan of amassing an army for her own nefarious purposes.
By mother's blood, by mother's body, so shall you witness her glory before you die.
Much of that sounds like standard Diablo fare. There's a big bad demon and you're the only one who can stop it. But Diablo 4 makes intelligent use of Lilith, layering her motivation slowly to the point where you can't help but consider her side of the argument. She's not driven solely by a lust for destruction. Instead, she's grieving, with the place she once created to escape the endless cycle of war between heaven and hell now being used as a staging ground to continue it. She's an antagonist that has been slighted by those she trusted at every turn, and while her means of exacting justice provide the reason for your entire crusade in the first place, it's surprising and equally welcome when Diablo 4 forces you to slow down and consider the true goal of your struggle.
Not just any demon. The daughter of hatred. The mother of sanctuary.
The trope of the sole survivor has been tried and tested in Diablo for years, and Diablo 4 doesn't completely change that. Instead, it puts a much larger emphasis on companions than ever before, with most acts centered around a new party member rather than a demon you're eventually hunting down. An early standout is Vigo, a prideful knight who is forced to endure a conscience-ruining loss after a single, selfish action. It's not just Vigo's remorse that is heart-wrenchingly conveyed, but also the horrors of his eventual redemption, leading to one of the more powerful character moments in the entire game. Vigo's story is a teaser for many similar arcs that follow, all of which do a great job of providing a cause for your character to join your fight while also contextualizing their motivations to continue or abstain from the enduring conflict. This applies to most of the allies you recruit in your fight against Lilith, each of which has their own motivations that feel faithful to their respective journeys. It's a level of care I can't recall being given to many past Diablo companions, and Diablo 4 certainly makes far more liberal use of them through the campaign to make them feel purposeful. Bringing together this ragtag group takes place over Diablo 4's extensive 6 acts, some of which you can tackle in different orders. Previous Diablo titles had each act accompanied by a change in locale, but in Diablo 4 it only takes a few moments before you're given free rein to explore its intimidatingly large interconnected map. Here you can transition from frigid mountaintops to desolate deserts in just a matter of minutes, with the transitional areas doing a good job of masking an otherwise jarring change. Having a static layout that you can learn and get comfortable with imbues exploration with a greater sense of wonder than previous hubs, which were often filled with enemies to kill before diving into the next dungeon. The geography also gives towns and larger cities a sense of place on a bigger map. Each distinct area is shown off with a great amount of visual detail, with Diablo 4 incorporating a delightfully macabre style that is befitting of its violent story. It's not trying to overly correct some of the criticisms laid on Diablo 3 either, with pops of color used tastefully to highlight areas of hope and kinship that contrast against the broader strokes of dread and fear painting the rest of the landscape. Things don't always hold up when the camera zooms in to give conversations a cinematic feel, as the degradation in detail on character models and environments is a little more discernible. Regardless, it's still a striking presentation that looks incredible in motion, while also keeping information clear enough to read when fights get chaotic. The moment-to-moment action in Diablo 4 is one of its strongest traits, which is for the best given how genre-defining the series has been over the years. There's an argument to be made that Diablo 3 went too far in the direction of simplification, and that's exactly where Diablo 4 course corrects in smart ways. You're still limited to a total of 6 active abilities at a time, 4 on your hotbar and 2 on each mouse button for those on PC, but how you construct your build is no longer linear. Instead, each new level lets you invest a point in a branching skill tree, with each of its core nodes branching further out into new abilities and associated passive perks. You need to invest a certain number of total points to continue unlocking each of these nodes, so you will have to think carefully about abilities and how they serve your greater build. It's a system that allows for a lot of flexibility, letting you experiment with focusing on one specific ability as the foundation of your build, or dabbling with ways to combine 2 entirely different paths, such as empowering your summoned skeletons while also firing off loads of blood-infused magic as a necromancer. Experimentation is further encouraged by Diablo 4's low cost to respec and unlimited chances to do so. Unlike the more punishing approach in Diablo 2, you can completely redefine your build at any time for a small fee of in-game gold, approaching your skill tree with a different idea or mindset, or just making some small changes to adjust for a difficult fight. This freedom is empowering in a similar way to that of Diablo 3's fluid build system, but it still requires you to engage meaningfully with synergies to make your builds viable. It feels like the culmination of all the ways previous games in the series have allowed you to play, while catering to as many playstyles as possible, but without many of the critical compromises from the last time out. The cost for respec does naturally increase the higher your level, but it never got to a point where I felt it was too expensive in relation to the amount of gold I was earning at the time. Thanks to this system, I felt free to continually change up my approach to my necromancer. I started with a combination of skeleton summoning, shadow damaging attacks, and some blood spells for survivability. The necromancer's unique ability lets me either summon minions from corpses or sacrifice the ability entirely for passive advantages, which led me to realize that I could theoretically play a necromancer entirely as a pseudo mage with blood and bone abilities. After some taxing boss battles, I decided to go all in on a summoning build that accentuated the abilities of my skeleton soldiers, mages, and large hulking golem, each of which had 3 different variations I could combine to find the perfect synergy. It was consistently satisfying to find a build that worked for a couple of hours and then completely change it, either through necessity or curiosity. Seeing small decisions manifest as big changes in terms of overall viability gives me faith that each class is going to be picked apart for various approaches that maximize elements of different playstyles. While the skill tree is where you will ultimately establish the basis of your build, aspects of power are a new facet of the role-playing formula that allows you to hone it. These collectible skills, so to speak, can be combined with rare pieces of gear to turn them into custom legendary items, imbued with the exact ability that complements the build you're constructing. This alleviates some of the headaches associated with grinding out dungeons in the hopes of a particularly legendary piece of gear dropping, while also providing a new avenue of options for build construction. That isn't to say it diminishes the rush of a big legendary drop though. Legendary weapons can often feature the same abilities as aspects do, but will regularly have better percentage rolls on their effectiveness, making them the ideal path to the most optimal late game build still. Aspects of power are obtained by clearing the many dungeons sprawled around the map, each of which feature their own multi-stage objective to complete. Some are as simple as killing enemies and depositing their souls to progress further, while others require you to hunt down a specific foe in search of a key that lets you reach lower levels of the dungeon. Each of these concludes with a boss fight, which for the most part are less interesting than those found in the main story dungeons. Bosses throughout the story are multi-layered bouts, with shifting enemy attacks that can completely change the landscape you're fighting in, forcing you to consistently think about positioning and when the best moment for an attack is. Bosses in these more common dungeons lack that sense of complexity, and I often found my skeleton warriors completely overwhelming many of them, to the point where many of the bosses would just stand in place and attack until dead. Given the sheer number of dungeons on offer, it might not have been possible to retain the same level of tension across every boss encounter, but when you're bouncing between several of these as you grab aspects of power throughout your campaign, it's difficult not to notice the stark contrast in quality between the two. As with any Diablo title, Diablo 4 is nowhere near complete once you've rolled credits on the campaign. World tiers return to incentivize you to go through everything again with a higher degree of difficulty, but also more rewards to reap. It's welcome that Diablo 4 retains the option that allows you to jump into more challenging world tiers from the very start this time, preventing a potentially frustrating first playthrough devoid of any meaningful challenge. Outside of increasing world tier, the map becomes littered with additional side activities that join regular side quests, rotating open world dynamic quests similar to the patrols in Destiny 2, and strongholds. Strongholds are extremely hostile areas that are densely populated with enemies usually a level or two higher than you, providing a larger challenge to overcome than regular groups of foes around the open world. Minor objectives also make this feel like a smaller scale open air dungeon, with new waypoints and merchants usually unlocked once you rid the area of the threat.
You will never harm another soul.
Larger scale world boss fights that are best tackled with numerous other players you will find in the open world are also available, although no multiplayer features were available during the review period. Finally, Whispers of the Dead encapsulate time bounties that pop up throughout the world, with each one rewarding you with an additional currency that can be turned in for caches of gems, weapons and more. Nightmare sigils, which can be obtained through completing Whispers of the Dead quests, can be used to unlock additional nightmare dungeons. These add new modifiers to existing dungeons around the map that can do anything from change the type of enemies you encounter to rolling new random abilities they might have at their disposal, with the allure of even rarer loot drops enticing you to run them over and over again. There is a familiar but equally expansive framework in place already in Diablo 4 that should satiate you across multiple playthroughs, with plans already detailed by Blizzard to expand on this through seasons of new content similar to that of Diablo 3.
Now, our true work begins.
Diablo 4 at this time cannot escape comparison to the past of the franchise it belongs to, but it's thankfully a game that has been crafted with a strong awareness of what made each one either revered or reviled. It represents a measured approach to combining the many elements from previous entries that worked into a system that feels like the new standard bearer for action role-playing. Coupled with a new benchmark for storytelling in the franchise and a solid narrative foundation for any potential new adventures, it's easy to see Diablo 4 as something I'll regularly check out for a long time to come.
It unlocks our path to the future. A future made possible because of the price you paid. Your sacrifice will not have been in vain.
We begin by hearing an old, wise-sounding voice. And we see a quiet, peaceful setting. This will make our game seem big and important. Now, something must break the serenity. Will this creature be in the game? No. Say goodbye to it forever. Suddenly, and for no reason, people running. These pointless slow-motion shots make everything seem cool and should bolster pre-sale numbers. That wah sound can mean only one thing. We must gaze over an epic shot of a world, and there should be lens flares. Now we see our hero, but only their silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design, or finished the story, or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
last question, Dr. Dallin. Are you sure the perimeter surrounding the zone is really enough? If a powerful emission were to occur, we would...
Listen, the zone has remained stable for years. Besides, we didn't establish the most advanced institution in human history without first guaranteeing its safety. As the head of the Scientific Institute for Research of the Chernobyl area, or CIRCA for short, I believe the wonders that we will bring to the world far outweigh the potential risks.
How big are these risks exactly?
The zone reveals a whole new world. We can stick with the old one, fearing change. But tell me, do you want our descendants to remember us as cowards? Or as those who dared to venture forward to a new, better humanity?
Evacuated. I remind our listeners that a similar incident happened in our region quite recently, ruining homes and livelihoods. However, city officials urge people to stay calm, assuring them the situation is totally under control.
So this is usually the bit where I take a bunch of stuff out of the locker and there's like a really cool montage, but I have nothing to take out because we're talking about Game Pass, which is entirely digital. And also, it has been around for 6 years. It is the service that has become synonymous with the phrase, the greatest deal in gaming. And rightfully so, it has had a tremendous impact on the way many of us play games. Me included. No, really, it has changed me. Over the years of being a Game Pass subscriber, my relationship with games, how I buy them, play them, and what console I choose to play them on has been dramatically altered. Honestly, it's kind of debatable whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, because I think it's a little bit of both. In fact, the whole thing has got me asking, is Game Pass changing how I, or how we all, value games? When I take a step back and reflect on the past 6 years, my thoughts are usually always, it's been great. I've never been this versed in games before. I get to try things I otherwise wouldn't, and yada yada yada. And that is all true. But there's another side to this. And no two games better illustrate my relationship with Game Pass than Ghostwire Tokyo and Hi-Fi Rush. And by the way, both of those games are actually by the exact same developer, Tango Gameworks, which is completely coincidental, really. Let's start with Ghostwire Tokyo. When Ghostwire Tokyo was revealed, it was showcased as a PlayStation exclusive. It had the devs behind The Evil Within, it was a new IP, it was spooky, paranormal, and fantastical. It seemed, by all accounts, like a Kurt game. However, around the same time it was revealed, Microsoft announced its acquisition of Tango's parent company, Bethesda Softworks, which meant its days as a PS5 exclusive were inevitably numbered. It was only a matter of time until it made its way on to Game Pass. So, despite my interest in the game, I held off. I didn't buy it in the hopes that it would eventually come to the subscription service. As a result, a game that I was actually pretty excited for was shoved to the back of my mind until a year later when it did indeed come to Game Pass. And oh yes, that was a pre-install all right. Now, on to Hi-Fi Rush. During an Xbox showcase earlier this year, Tango Gameworks revealed an all-new, hyper-stylized, cartoonishly over-the-top rhythm action game. It looked really cool, and then, out of nowhere, like a Nintendo Direct mic drop,
we're happy to tell you that you can play Hi-Fi Rush tonight.
That made it suddenly even cooler. The results swept through headlines and blew up my Twitter feed, an absolute slam dunk of a surprise. And yeah, I instantly installed it. But here's the thing. If Hi-Fi Rush had just launched as a regular game at a regular price without the support of Game Pass, I know I would have most likely passed on it. Nothing against it, like, at all. I just know that if I had to vote with my dollars, I probably would have put those dollars somewhere else. Maybe even Ghostwire Tokyo. But because it launched on Game Pass, a service that I browse almost every single day, I had nothing to lose but to give it a shot. And you know what? It's pretty good. And you know what I didn't think was very good? Ghostwire Tokyo. Let that sink in for a second. Ooh, and also, another important point that involves both those games is that I haven't finished either one of them. And I likely won't. So, what do I do with this realization? On one hand, there was a game I wanted, waited, installed it, played it for a few hours, and decided it wasn't for me. But on the other hand, was a game I wouldn't have played, but because it was available to me, I did, and ended up enjoying it, but I still did not finish it. When I realized this, it had me starting to look a little closer at my overall habits with the greatest deal in gaming. Some of my favorite games are on Game Pass, new and old ones, some of which are from a pre-Game Pass world. Grim Fandango, Paradise Killer, 999, the Yakuza series, while others I got to play because of Game Pass. Norco, Immortality, Hellblade, Gungrave Gore. But the thing is, I realized while I was scrolling through all the games on Game Pass that there's really only a handful and then some that I've actually seen to the end. Otherwise, there is a graveyard of unfinished games on my hard drive. Proteus, Scorn, Tunic, Signalis, The Pedestrian, Pentiment, and, of course, Hi-Fi Rush and Ghostwire Tokyo. Or how about the games I installed and just haven't even touched, like Somerville, Ninja Gaiden, and The Artful Escape? Yeah, I don't really feel great about it. Also, I realized that like half these games that like I have installed or from Game Pass aren't actually even on Game Pass anymore. That's how long it's taken me to get around to some of these games, or just completely abandon them. For, reasons, of course. I'm a strong believer in the mentality that if you don't want to finish a book, then you shouldn't. And similar to books, games require a little more engagement from you compared to something, say, like movies or TV shows. And to me, it becomes more about your time and attention as the measurement of value rather than the actual dollar amount. When I think about my time with Ghostwire Tokyo or even Hi-Fi Rush, would I have spent more time with them, maybe even viewed them differently if I had actually purchased them? I honestly don't know. But it's enough to unravel my entire perception of why I buy and play what I do versus what I don't. Oh, and speaking of when I actually do buy a game, I'm most likely buying it on Xbox because it has become my primary console, and I owe that to Game Pass, which is actually maybe really the point here. If I'm measuring success in my time, then, well, Xbox has won it. Because regardless of whether or not I'm playing a game on Game Pass or not, I'm still turning my Xbox on every day, more than any of the other consoles, which was not the case a few years back. In fact, I made an entire video about that and how my perception of Microsoft has changed. To say the least, I wasn't even an Xbox user until Game Pass came along. That's Game Pass's crowning achievement over the past 6 years, getting people to talk about Xbox and spend time on its consoles. And in the process, it has raised the bar for what will motivate me to actually spend money on a game. It makes me think about the games I haven't played or have not bought in hopes that they will come to a service like Game Pass. Games like the Callisto Protocol. Like Ghostwire Tokyo, there's a lot going for the Callisto Protocol that had me interested. I love survival horror. It was deemed as a Dead Space spiritual successor, despite Dead Space Remake releasing only a month later, and yet I wasn't entirely sold on it. You might assume that it's because of the review scores, but it wasn't.
I actually have an entire video about that you should consider watching.
It was that it didn't seem interesting or compelling enough. It just had me curious at best, which to me is the quintessential sign of a I'll just wait for Game Pass sort of game. Even just saying that makes it feel like I'm devaluing the games that do launch to Game Pass, which is not the case at all. This is just how my brain works now. So much so that if the Callisto Protocol was on PlayStation's game catalog, Sony's answer to Game Pass, then maybe, just maybe, I'd actually consider subscribing to a whole other service just to play it. And that, in of itself, is a messed up situation for me to unpack. That I wouldn't consider playing a game that I was interested in unless it was a part of a subscription service like Game Pass. I would rather pay $15 extra a month to play a game that on paper ticks all of my boxes rather than just fork up $70 for a game that I may even potentially love. I at least know that I'm not the only one that's shifted in some sort of way because of Game Pass. After all, PlayStation did make the game catalog, the exact same model as Game Pass, and has been using it as a means to showcase some cool games like Humanity or even Stray as day one releases for the service. I still love Game Pass, and I'm still going to use it as a means to dabble and experiment and try things because that is what I'm paying for. One way or another, it demonstrates that we are living in a post-Game Pass world at the moment, and I'm having a hard time imagining a pivot back. You know what? F it. I'm buying the Callisto Protocol.
With our swords, we will forge new stories to strike the gods that haunt us. You might see me as weak, but I will show you what lies behind my eyes. Embrace our suffering, soothe our scars of grief, and break their siege of our minds. You may see them as gods. We will show you what lies behind their eyes.
Wait. Listen. It's coming. It knows my name. What's he saying? It knows our name. How does it know our name?
To risk your own life for what you believe is your sacrifice to make. To lead others to death brings a different kind of burden. One that Senua would have to learn to bear.
Can you smell their fear? Look at the bones. Look at the bones. That's going to be you. That's going to be everyone.
No, stay down.
Those whose eyes are clouded by fear are besieged by the ghosts that haunt them. Senua saw that to win the war we must break this siege. Break it with an unshakable truth. Break it with an impossible feat.
Get ready.
Now's the moment. Get ready. First the oil, then the fire. Yes, yes. Now, go! Yes!
Varric! Harold! It's going to die.
Bring it to you.
Do it! I'm here! I'm here! Take me! Come on! Now, chase me! Run!
Hello again for the first time.
You see nothing. You saw
didn't
nothing.
see anything.
Okay,
We were-
it's absolutely fine.
We were
Everything's fine.
We were miming. We were, just seeing if you could read lips.
Yeah, like when sound got decent. No, I don't know. We were all
Xbox.
mute. Xbox. Happy Xbox Day, everyone. Happy Easter, Xbox.
Happy Easter, Xbox.
That's a reference to, if you've never seen the Usher Dance Central
Great.
Xbox videos, they are some of the greatest promotional marketing materials I have ever seen, and I will quote
I
them
think
at
it's
every
one of the
opportunity.
best things Xbox has ever done.
He's not only the greatest dancer of all time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's the greatest spokesperson
Promoter.
of all
Yes.
time.
Absolutely.
Happy Valentine's Day, Xbox.
Happy
Christmas,
yeah,
Xbox.
Happy Christmas. Anyways, hi.
We should probably talk about what we are going to be talking about today and seeing today. So obviously, yes, it is the Xbox Summer Showcase, and obviously we also have the Starfield Direct. We're going to get a big look at Bethesda Game Studios' upcoming, what is it, the first new IP in 25 years. Very exciting. I'm Lucy James. I'm joined by Kurt Indovina.
Greetings and salutations. Hello, I'm Kurt.
And Tamar Hussein.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Kurt.
Okay, well, guys, we can't just keep repeating ourselves. We're going to have to come up with some unique intros. But no, it's good to see everyone. I'm very excited about this one. It's going to be an interesting show for Xbox, I feel, because the narrative around, they have had a bit of an up and down, a bit of an up and down year. Folks was very stoked about stuff like Hi-Fi Rush, and the reception of that. And then, unfortunately, Redfall did not land with the good. It didn't land the way people hoped, ourselves included. But now there's good buzz around this showcase. People are very excited. Briefly, before we get kind of into the nitty-gritty, what are your hopes for today? What do you expect to see?
I think it's an interesting kind of inflection point in Xbox's current kind of roadmap or their progress. They had a real table-setting period where they were, acquiring studios, building up the kind of development and timeline kind of stuff. And the narrative for them has always been, yes, we know we're light right now, but we're basically putting these dominoes down in place to knock them down when the time comes. We finally started approaching that time, and the narrative completely got taken over by the fact that Redfall came out, and it was supposed to be the first big part of this domino kind of effect, and it kind of dropped the ball. and it took over. That is the narrative now. So I think what I'm looking forward to most is hopefully Xbox showing how they're going to bounce back, and they already have a lot of things in place to do that. Some of them have been leaked, like the Persona stuff, which is unfortunate. Yeah, but I think like I'm excited to see what first-party stuff they have. Fable has obviously been the worst-kept secret in British game development of all time.
Yeah, I mean, we heard about that before we moved.
Yeah, when I joined the games industry 10 years ago, someone told me, you know, they're making a new Fable, and like everyone knows that their Fable was happening, and yeah, so I'm excited to finally see that. It will be a great opportunity to see a kind of a studio kind of branch out as well. But beyond that, Big Phil has said we've got games that people don't know about. So the stuff that I'm excited about is seeing that. Maybe that was Persona. If it was, yike.
No, I think there'll be more, and we'll go through stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, we're just flagging it now ahead of time. Very excitingly, we are going to have Phil Spencer and Matt Booty coming to the Giant Bomb Couch tonight around 8 p.m. PT.
Yeah.
We briefly saw them yesterday. They're not backing out.
No.
We double checked.
They were very excited.
They were actually
like,
very
we cannot wait
excited.
to be there. So
I watched our post show and they're like, never mind.
Yeah.
No. So if you want to see interview with Phil Spencer and Matt Booty on today of all days, on Xbox Day, make sure to come back. Giant Bomb nights tonight, 8 p.m. We'll be tweeting about it and doing the whole thing. But Kurt, what are your hopes and dreams for today?
Well, first, Tam, you brought up the good table setting. That was a good analogy, because that's been my feeling for so long with Xbox and Microsoft. Like, I've been very, I come from a funky place where I wasn't an Xbox user until the past couple of years.
You made a great video about it.
Thank you very much. I mean, but it's there's been this sort of long game, running a marathon sort of deal that I think Xbox is doing right now, and this is a conversation that's happened over and over again. So but they are rebuilding themselves. They feels like they've been rebuilding themselves for ages, but it's been a slow sort of turning of a massive ship to rebuild your identity, to do things that are prominent and important to gamers, or changing even the perspective of how we interact with games, Game Pass, all that jazz. So Xbox has had a funky year. But I do think we've had these sort of wonderful moments like Hi-Fi Rush that have unfortunately been shadowed by
some of the
by Redfall and some other things. But I still think there's so many things we haven't seen. There's so many questions unanswered because there are so many developers that they have that I think are so interesting and so fascinating. We haven't seen anything from them in ages, and I don't think that's just gonna I don't think it's they've gone into the shadows.
Yeah.
They're working.
No.
So I'm always just a little excited and a little positive to see what Xbox is doing. So even for the games that I'm not super intimate or into, I like Fable. I played the first two Fables. I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore fan, but the prospect.
Oh, you hate the British, huh?
No, so I see.
Wow.
It's the worst.
You don't like it when we
Yeah.
walk up to crowds and just fart and everyone
Yes,
laughs?
that's true. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I don't like it when you do that. So.
Well, I'm never going to stop.
Condoms made out of goat intestines.
Yep.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, historically accurate.
Accurate.
Yes, exactly.
That's real.
But now that I work with two British people, how could I not be excited for the next Fable, made by the Forza team of all things?
Well, not exactly. I don't think the person who designed hubcaps is exactly going to go over.
Well,
but I mean,
I hope it is. Oh my god, yeah.
Well, why does this chicken look like a hubcap?
I love the idea of we're announcing Fable, but all the characters are cars. They're we can only do cars. we only know the cars.
Yeah, and then the cars get jealous if you're driving with other cars.
Yeah, little hearts around the cars.
Yeah, and if you drive really badly, then you start to turn red and dark and weird, and smoke coming out of your exhaust.
Why does this car sound like John Cleese?
I think we should coin that here. We've coined a couple game ideas in this time.
Karza.
Yeah.
Fable Karza or something like that.
So
wait, what was the other game we did? Finger Guns.
Finger guns.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess the last thing, which I know I'm not going to see, but I'm going to just keep saying to make sure people are aware that I personally want to see it, Wolfenstein 3. I'm waiting for Wolfenstein 3.
We can look. We can talk about it.
It was
losing my
right.
voice. I'm getting emotional about Wolfenstein. No, it's genuinely because I haven't had any social interaction, and I've had all of my social interaction for the entire year.
In 1 or 2 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
We'll talk about. We know there's stuff that is definitely confirmed. We're gonna get this big look at Starfield. Persona, unfortunately, did leak.
We can just pretend.
We can pretend. I can.
We've not seen any moving footage of it.
Yes, we have.
As in with the
We see the
high quality stuff. You know
that
what I
wasn't
mean?
an Instagram
That
reel,
wasn't
but
an
someone
Instagram compressed video. Yeah.
That's fair. But also, yeah, let's talk about Wolfenstein. So it is the Xbox Bethesda showcase with Starfield Direct. I do wonder really how much Bethesda stuff is going to be in there, given I assume all of their eggs are in the Starfield basket for the remainder of the year. But Wolfenstein is a game that keeps coming up because it's...
They said it was a planned
good.
trilogy.
They said it was a trilogy.
planned
They owe us
trilogy.
one game.
Yeah, and I know they're doing Indiana Jones now, which is, like, interesting to me. I don't know if that's going to be...
God.
If it's going to be an Indiana Jones where we see Indiana Jones, like, really killing Nazis the way I want it to be.
I do not
I
think...
mean,
he's going to be...
Wolfenstein, what a
I
Nazi
know.
killing in there.
Well, I know. That's what, so I'm interested to see how that studio has done such, like, a pulp-style, aggressive... sort of interpretation of Wolfenstein, what they do with Indiana Jones, but of course there's like the Disney.
I do wonder how that game is going to be impacted by the latest movie being poop from a butt. And like I imagine they went in being like, oh shit, this is a good time for us to have Harrison Ford's back. And
Harrison's Ford.
Harrison's getting his Ford out again.
No.
Cars.
Cars,
I do imagine like if the momentum behind that is gone. I felt a lot of the momentum for Indiana Jones as a video game property is like contingent on the developer making it with Machine Games, and like I don't know, I feel like they could do a really good kind of first person style action game and also have like make what they do work for Indiana Jones. But do I really want... I'm excited to see it, but I just don't care about Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what, boys, I can't even pretend to
shit.
care about Indiana Jones.
I
I like the original 3 movies.
They're fine
Sunday,
now, okay?
Sunday tea time viewing in the UK.
just
but I feel, Indiana Jones 4 definitely took the wind out of the sails
I
for
just
me.
once I saw Shia LaBeouf doing monkey shit, I was like, I'm done, man.
I mean, even Fleabag apparently couldn't save this one. So
which is
devastating.
That is devastating for me. I would rather see Wolfenstein 3. I would rather see Machine Games do Wolfenstein 3.
Did you play the co-op one with the twins?
Youngblood?
Yeah.
I actually like that game.
Yeah.
It made me very motion sick. I'm not sure why, because the other Wolfensteins don't.
No, I actually I played through the entire game as co-op. Like it's not as great as the other ones, but like the writing and the aesthetic and like the quips that they've like been able to infuse into this new era of Wolfenstein DNA is all there. Like it's still great, and also has like you can definitely tell like some cutting floor arcane stuff was definitely in that game and works in my opinion more than another multiplayer arcane game. But
Shots fired. How have they not done a dog version of the game and called it Wolfenstein? Come on. Machine, come on.
Coin it right here.
Just to briefly explain the mental gymnastics that I've just done is that reminded me of the time, didn't they do Skyrim stuff with dogs? Like they dressed up dogs and took them around. And so now Bethesda Game Studio, that's really some mental gymnastics. We're going to get a good look at Starfield. How are you guys feeling about that at this point? Because maybe it's just been in the industry too long, but I feel every time I see a trailer for a game up front and I know that I'm going to be into it, there are certain games I'm just like, you don't need to show me any more of it. And with Starfield, you already had me with Bethesda Game Studio, space.
Yeah.
Tim Curry, space. That's all I wanted from it. And so I'm not, with Alan Wake, for example, every new piece of information, like I was already there from the trailer, but I'm going through and I'm like, oh my god, what's up with Mr. Scratch? What's up with Jagger and whatever? Anyway, but with Starfield, I'm just like, I think the big question for them today is going to be 30 or 60 frames per second. As much as I hate that, because that should not be the dominating conversation, but it will be, and especially after Redfall. What are you guys excited about, if at all, about seeing with Starfield today?
I think we need a more fleshed out kind of, or extended gameplay demo, which is what we're going to get today, so people understand the loop a bit better. And because obviously our only frame of reference is other Bethesda Game Studio games, which is generally Skyrim or Oblivion or that kind of stuff. And so the only framework we have to stick Starfield into is those. And I don't know if that's doing a disservice to the game because that's not what it is, or if it's accurate because that is pretty much what it is, but they're coming at it from a new angle and have improved it. we just don't know either way. Like, I think that right now what we need is a bit more clarity on what that game is going to be when people sit down and play it, and what the scale of it is from a kind of like broader perspective, and also like what kind of story are you telling here? Like what? Because Elder Scrolls is a game about freedom and exploration and adventure, but also it's got an interesting story. It's got a world. Like, maybe I don't know, and I'm being a weirdo, but I like the story of Skyrim quite a bit.
Me too.
And so one of the things that I'm coming to Starfield with is an interest in narrative and characters. And so far I've seen little to nothing of it, other than space. And that's like, all right, tell me what is gonna happen. Am I going to learn, how to shout from a big spaceship and throw Dar in space or whatever? Like, what's going on? And I think that's what I want out of it. And also, I think they need to show off an extended look at that game just to be like, hey, we figured out how to stop it from constantly breaking, and like it looks cleaner.
I want
that, but I
jank.
feel like I also, they need to be like, here's a baseline. Like, show us the baseline. Like, the jank comes when people get in there and start doing weird stuff with it, and I love that. But I also feel like they need a kind of like, hey, we got one of these games, And the problem with the jank is it becomes the narrative for a really long time, where it's like, these games are busted yet again. What's going on? How is this train just a man wearing a hat? What's going on?
But there's also tiers to jank, all right? Like what I'm saying is like,
No.
Like,
I mean, Tears of the Jank is like Skyrim running on Xbox and PC versus Skyrim running on PS3.
Yeah, but like you also have Cyberpunk jank versus launch Cyberpunk jank versus like Skyrim jank, which in one way or another like becomes like an additional color that's added to that game.
That happens after the fact, though.
Yeah. When you see dragons, like
but like, once people have gone through the entire experience and like the game has been like kind of absorbed by the wider gaming culture, that's when the jank goes from being, how can you put this out, to this is fun and dumb. So like they need to get the first phase of it like sorted and show that it's not going to be a moment where like all of it falls over and it's like the PS3 versions of Fallout or Skyrim or whatever.
Yeah, I guess like my quick thing on Starfield is like I'm of the same place you are, where it's just like, I know I'm going to play it. Like I just give it to me. I just want to see it. To your point, scope is one of those things where it's like I forgot how many planets there were. Like you can go to like 600 billion planets, and I'm just like, okay, but like, what does
that sounds exhausting.
That look like? What does that mean? And that's like the really only thing that I really want explained. But I think Starfield's in an interesting spot as a Bethesda fan, as a Skyrim Fallout fan, because we had Skyrim. Skyrim has still existed, is still existing in many ways a decade later. Fallout 4 has had several criticisms over its narrative and story, so now we have like, and then of course Fallout 76 happened in between that, but Skyrim, Fallout 4, and now Starfield, it feels like this sort of, I'm interested to see this arc of where like what Starfield took and learned from maybe criticism of the narrative in Fallout 4 and the things that we obviously like the DNA and foundation they laid out that they like kind of pinpointed with Skyrim at that point. So I just give it to me, man. I don't know.
Little GameSpot exclusive. We saw Todd yesterday.
Wearing the jacket.
Walked past him. He's wearing the jacket.
He's wearing the
guys.
jacket.
He's wearing that jacket.
He looks good.
Are we sure he's like, that's just not his like skin?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a very well tailored jacket. Other games. We already talked a little bit about Fable. Worst kept secret. Everyone is big expectations to see Fable today. But also got some of the stuff in there we could talk about. So things like Avowed, Outer Worlds 2, games that have been announced that have kind of gone dark for a little bit. Speaking of, Perfect Dark. I mean, one for me that I'm very intrigued by, they announced, we saw a little bit of, but nothing else since, Everwild from Rare, the team who are currently obviously behind games like Sea of Thieves, which has been their main focus for the past few years. But I mean, there's a lot we could talk about. Silksong.
Yeah, Silksong, it could be a really interesting one. I feel like they're smart enough to know that's a thing that a lot of people want, and if they can secure it and be like, this is the place where we'll tell you the release date definitively. I feel like,
and not just coming in 12 months.
Because they were the last time to say like it will be here in 12 months, and then it was not there in 12 months. So I feel like they have to a degree, like I'm not upset about this, but like, I'm not angry about this internet, but I feel like internally I would be like, we have a responsibility to go back to this and correct the record and give people a concrete date that they can kind of mark on their calendars. So I would love to see them that. I'm also kind of interested to see if we'll get anything from Tango, because Hi-Fi Rush was a game that they said was kind of made on the side, right, of Skunkworks. And even like Phil was like, oh, we put out Hi-Fi Rush, and when we was talking to Kind of Funny and Snowback Mike and Paris and Gary, he was talking about, oh yeah, people expected the Evil Within 3, but we gave them Hi-Fi Rush. So my mind is like, is there an Evil Within 3? It could be good time to do it. The genre is still very healthy, especially now that Resident Evil's come back and done some amazing stuff with it, and Alan Wake is popping off like pretty big. They could come out with an Evil Within 3 and it'd be good timing. But at the same time, if their Tango is doing something else entirely and we get to see that, that would be exciting as well.
I think so. I think Tango, like between The Evil Within 1 and 2 and now Hi-Fi Rush, like I think they've all of a sudden skyrocketed to like, and Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
Like they've really they've created like a wide range of like interesting, unique titles at this point. And like they've kind of become like a studio that I'm really paying attention to. Even if I don't like love all their games, I think like every single time they show up with something, it's like there's a distinct thing that they're trying to accomplish with it. So it'd be cool. I'm personally not banking on seeing anything from Tango just because we had Hi-Fi Rush earlier this year, but
Yeah. I feel like in terms of their bigger projects, it's going to be a couple years out.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Yeah.
But it'd be intriguing. I agree. They're a fun, interesting studio, and I'm very interested to see what they've got coming up. In terms of other Xbox big hitters, not anticipating seeing anything from Halo. Unfortunately, 343 was
I don't know. I feel like...
I don't know. 343 was sort of gutted by...
Yeah, I know, but like, I guess the question is like, is Microsoft invested in trying to present Halo as an ongoing kind of marquee franchise? Because the end of, or where we're at with Infinite doesn't leave that franchise in a good spot. Do they see a future in making Mr. Chef still one of the icons, Halo icons? And if they see a future in it, they really need to say something that indicates that they're still trying, even if it's repeated, even if they're failing constantly with it, or like having successes to some degree and like dropping the ball in other places. They've got so much invested in Halo as an IP and 343 as a studio, like one of their major studios, that they need to do something to say, hey, these folks are still working on something, or we're trying to figure out how to make Halo good, or like improve the performance of it, or like restore it to some sort of kind of prestige. If they don't do that in this show, I am genuinely thinking like, is this the end for Halo? Like, are we? And honestly, I'm at the stage where I'm like, I would be okay with that. Like, I've had some amazing times with Halo, but like, there's something going on there where it's like, the magic is gone, like, and it's been gone for a long time, and the attempts to bring it back have been stumbles in a way that I think Gears is in a better position than Halo is right now. Like, the Coalition, as a team that picked up a major Xbox IP after its known developers passed it on, has performed way better with Gears than 343 has done with Halo. And maybe it's a case of like them going, let's let Halo go. We'll double down on Gears. I would be very surprised if they did that. Like, Master Chief is still a big deal. Halo is still a major property. I feel like they need to say something about that property. And if
Season
they
2
don't,
coming to Paramount.
yeah, if they don't, I'd be sad and a little worried.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Gears, I would love to see something from Gears 6 at this point. I really enjoyed Gears 5, and obviously it kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm intrigued to see what if they come out with anything. But I think for me as well, we got games like Perfect Dark, which we mentioned earlier, which kind of was sort of, was that 2020 they showed that off for the first time? And it was just, very brief trailer.
Quadruple A
studio, whatever the hell that means. But I would love to see something from Perfect Dark. I would love to see Hellblade 2. Just, these big franchises, these big games that we know, that Xbox has cooking, but also that we know, people have a lot of interest in and are just kind of champing at the bit to see.
A new Hexic, yeah.
Peggle 3. I mean, that's...
Microsoft Solitaire.
Yeah, come on.
I like There's even other studios too. Like I know this game wasn't a huge hit, but I really enjoyed, or at least like I like it in concept. Is We Happy Few? Like, that's a studio
Yeah, they just come into VR, right?
Yeah, and like
Hello Neighbor
I
did.
think that's a game.
Was that the same studio?
No.
Yeah.
Similar vibe.
Similar vibe, yeah. But
It's maybe
Yeah.
clunky
Ignore me.
face aesthetic.
Yeah.
But like We Happy Few, I know is a game that was like really not in good shape when it came out. But having played it in the past couple of years, like it is an interesting immersive sim. Like I really do think that game has a lot going on, and I think that studio is like still very young. I think they only have like 2 games out, and like there's studios like that Microsoft own that like. This seems like an interesting card that they have in their pocket, and like those are the like we already know about Hellblade 2, we already know Perfect Dark's been announced. Those are the big games. Quadruple A, again, whatever the hell that means.
Regardless of what we see, I think the most important thing that needs to happen, and when we come out of this, the theme needs to be they gave us release dates. They gave us a lot of release dates, and they were like reasonably close together. The goal was 1 major release per quarter for Phil, and I think they need to show that they put in the time and they're going to execute on that.
We've got 3 minutes until the showcase, 2 minutes now until the showcase. We will be back, obviously, afterwards. We're going to be doing the Giant Bomb talkover too, but we'll be back afterwards to dissect all of the big announcements. So, boys, I got to ask you.
2.5 hours of it.
2.5 hours of stuff. What's your wild card? What's your madcap prediction?
The Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver remake.
By Double Fine.
By anyone. I don't think that's
by anyone
except Double Fine.
It's never gonna happen. But you know, you said wild card, and I'm just trying to. I've been on Twitter long enough, and I've seen manifesting has got a 50-50 hit rate sometimes. So, you know, I'm out. No, I'm manifesting very rarely works, but you know, I'm gonna try. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I'll manifest.
Law of attraction.
Yeah, law of attraction, exactly. I am attracted to Raziel, so that's where I can go.
How about you, Kurt?
I'm so lame.
Just say Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver for me, please.
By
Manifest.
Double Fine.
No, whatever.
This is so boring, and I said this already, but like I really, really love Wolfenstein. I like want Wolfenstein 3 so bad. But that's otherwise I can't, because I have to say this, but you know, it's been a couple years since Psychonauts 2 came out. What's Double Fine up to? What do they do?
Been really well. I mean,
Making a 30-part documentary.
Yeah, they released the documentary, and all this stuff has recently just gone onto Game Pass, and like stacking and everything. So but I'm saying like there is a nice momentum behind.
Yeah, it would be good.
Double Fine right now.
Or at least, you know, I mean, but it's, you know, they're still a small team, and or at least, you know,
Double Fine presents 1 versus 100.
Oh, don't even joke about that, man.
There
I
we
would
go.
love 1 versus 100 done by Double Fine.
That would be wild.
And then, just kidding, it's Legacy of Kain. It would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah, that would be so good. But it's never happening.
So yeah, Wolfenstein 3. You.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Now we gotta wrap it up.
Dishonored 3. I mean.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so good if Arcane were like, listen,
we messed up.
It'll be alright.
It'll
okay.
be good.
It'll
It'll all be fine. No, I mean, I think just in terms of, you know, the stuff like State of Decay, which I'm kind of interested in a little bit, but we gotta wrap, we gotta go. We'll be back afterwards. Enjoy the Xbox Showcase.
Bye.
Oh, we're finally doing this, are we? Because I was going to make a sandwich. Okay. Let's do it. What do I think about heroes? Well, We've all seen them, haven't we? Swanning about the place with their disproportionately high cheekbones and comically massive weapons.
Wanker.
Roughing up bandits, because they like to rough up bandits, don't they? Living it up with the common folk every single night. On a day-to-day basis, I'd say the true hero is me, someone who's breaking new ground with fruit, with veg, on the agricultural side of things.
Just look at them.
Not wafting around mythical creatures. And that's what they are. Wafters.
Yeah, well done.
You see, I'm not here to slay legendary beasts. I'm here to conquer the vegetable. Not a euphemism. Let's face it, the age of heroes is over. This is the age of innovation. This, if you will, is the age of death. One moment. This is awkward.
Yeah.
Oh.
World premiere.
Bones. Been a while. So, you remember that favor you owe me? I'm looking for a creature. Huge, sneaky, teeth like knives. No? Well, hey, how about you guys? No? Nobody? Not helpful. Sneaky.
World premiere.
These are dangerous times. At least that's what I hear. The Empire? They're everywhere. But the world here belongs to the syndicates. If I want to survive, I have to play their game. Looks like I'm all in.
She's in here somewhere.
On second thought, I'm out.
There she is.
I've been held back my whole life.
now. I just need a chance to finally be free. Wherever that takes me.
I'm here to offer you a way out, okay?
Get off my ship, Jalen.
Give me a chance. You're gonna have to trust me. It'll be dangerous, risky. But if you pull this off, you'll never look over your shoulder again.
The underworld shows no mercy. But it's a big galaxy out there, and I'm gonna risk it all.
Wow. Fable, South of Midnight, Star Wars Outlaws. Welcome to our first ever double feature, the Xbox Game Showcase, followed by a deep dive into one of the most important RPGs ever made, Starfield. Gaming is the most powerful of all entertainment. It transports, it challenges, it connects us, and it's just incredibly and awesomely fun. That is why Team Xbox is committed to building the greatest place to play, by partnering with the most ambitious of game creators, and by unleashing the power of the gaming community, enabling all of us to play the games we want with our friends anywhere, from mobile devices to PCs to consoles. The lineup we have for you today is just incredible. These are the works of the very greatest creative teams from around the world. We made this show for you, the largest, most engaged, and globally diverse fan base in Xbox history. You are the heart and soul of Xbox. Your passion drives us, and you are the inspiration for the visionaries whose games we showcase today. From me and all of the team at Xbox, thank you. This next game is from Thunder Lotus, the award-winning studio behind Spiritfarer, who've gone back to their combat roots with an amazing co-op raid-focused action game that is uniquely theirs. All right, everybody, it's time.
World premiere.
Guys, it's a simple job. Just in and out. Nothing to it. 1, Everybody hit the floor!
World premiere.
People don't like you very much, do they? Sent here to the living lands by an emperor who couldn't bother to come himself. To investigate some plague that seems to be corrupting our very souls. You want us to trust you. But the truth is, you scare us. The way you fight. The power you wield. The secrets you keep. You're either here to save us or destroy us. So now that you have all this power, what are you gonna do with it?
Welcome to the Scum Bar, the most notorious tavern on Melee Island. Wall-to-wall rogues and scoundrels.
So tell me, which ship is right for you? A big ship? A luxury ship? A ship with just a splash of je ne sais quoi?
The legend of Monkey Island? You mean Governor Guybrush. But Threepwood's not set foot out of that mansion for almost a year.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? I told you no autographs. Though I see you have a meet and greet ticket. And I guess it's not every day that you get to meet the mighty pirate Guybrush Threepwood, the legend of Monkey Island.
LeChuck has turned the memories of this island into a prison for Guybrush.
Well, well, what do we have here?
You need these.
Things may be very different from the sea of thieves you know.
Hold on!
World premiere.
Hi, Melina here, speaking to you from our performance capture stage at Ninja Theory, where we have just wrapped our shoots for Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. When we first showed gameplay for Hellblade 2, it was a look at some of the game's cinematic and immersive action, where Senua faced off against a gigantic troll on the Icelandic coastline. Today, we're taking you deeper into Senua, her unique perspective on the world, and the intimate journey that awaits you in Senua's Saga. What you'll see today is all captured by the team on Xbox Series X.
She can feel them slipping through her soul, following the threads of her mind. She's here to find them, the ones who hide. She needs their help with a promise, a question. But it's never so simple, is it? Wisdom has a price. There's always a part of you that changes. A part of you that darkens. And a part of you that dies.
Over there.
That pool. I can feel them.
I can feel them everywhere. The lost ones.
They are watching us.
You should never have come here.
They can see us. What is going to happen? It's time to find out. How can we make it happen?
It's time to find out. Why are they watching?
It's time to find out.
What are they waiting for?
Senua, what are you waiting for?
I'm here.
Watching more than one. Where are they?
Where are you?
What do they want?
I don't like it.
I'm scared.
This is too hard, woman.
Their eyes.
Everywhere. Can feel them boring into her.
Witch.
What is she supposed to do? Do something.
Ask them.
What do you want me to do?
Lost souls fought through hell to find us.
You were lost. Not anymore. Cool.
Are you ready for what you will find here?
What we will find.
What if it's all for nothing? What is that? There. They are waiting. There.
It's them.
It's you.
What will they do to her?
What will we do to us?
Touch it.
Feel
You're mine.
your voices.
All the parts of you that are broken.
You can be whole. All the grief,
All the rage.
all the fear.
Everything I've seen, everything I've done, has led me to this place.
We've come so far.
Not far enough. Say it.
You are ready.
Tell them.
I am here. Now.
What if we get lost forever?
What will happen to them?
What will happen to you?
I will not let them down.
She is ready. They know.
Go.
Who are these around you, Senua? Those you have saved, or those you led to death?
こだここ。どうしたんだ？
Oh my god! A stranger!
なんだよ。どうかしたか？
Oh, surf's up, dude. Yeah, dude. Hang loose, bro.
俺がどうかしたのか？は？は？どうなってんだこりゃ！
Appalachia! What a sight! A verdant wonderland of promise plucked from post-atomic blight. The fruit of years of prudent progress and determined reclamation, and 15 million dwellers worth of keen imagination. From the heart of West Virginia to the depths of the pit.
Well, we owe it all to Vault 76.
No matter if you roam alone or spend your time with friends, you'll find a home in Appalachia where the good times never end. There are relics to uncover from a time before the war, along with loads of friendly folks to meet and enemies galore. Our world is always changing. Greater foes are overthrown as we embark on expeditions into thrilling new unknowns. Yes, from Appalachian settlements to Nuka World on tour. You're never short on things to do or places to explore. Think you've seen it all, eh? Well, how about this? Pack your bags for an escape of Epicurean bliss. Put your rad shield on and fix your hair up pretty, because we're headed for the boardwalk of Atlantic City. So there you have it. Now you know. There's a million ways to make the wasteland your waste home. And when you hear adventure calling, when you're looking for some kicks, answer the call of Vault.
Answer the call of Vault.
Answer the call of Vault 76. Play it now with Xbox Game Pass.
World premiere.
General Motors' historic commitment to performance is embodied in two of its iconic brands, Chevrolet and Cadillac. The V-Series.R elevates Cadillac's competitive spirit to a whole new level with its thunderous V8 and hybrid power. The legendary Corvette has been a celebrated champion for decades. The all-new Chevrolet Corvette E-Ray continues that tradition. General Motors is proud to usher in a new era of competition with the innovators behind the new Forza Motorsport.
Forza Motorsport and General Motors are pairing their strengths in technical excellence and sophisticated modern design to take bold steps into the future and bring that experience to gamers. I'm thrilled to welcome the Cadillac V-Series.R and the Corvette E-Ray to the home of competition.
I know you're ready. You've got this. Let's tweak the car's performance for the next one. Was your best lap yet.
This is my timeline.
I have seen all that ever was, and all that ever will be. I have seen betrayal, endurance, ambition, and courage. I am the one who knows. Perhaps the first time in my unending existence, I feel disconnected from fate's flow. Unseen forces move against me, hungry for forbidden knowledge. A mystery long kept hidden. A secret that threatens to unravel reality itself. Save Tamriel.
C6 Unit 37. Toronto is under attack. By Null Sector.
There's something different about Null Sector this time.
They've taken over most of the city and they're rounding up Omnics.
They need our help.
People are answering Winston's recall. There's new blood on the team, and we have so much to teach them.
If we can stop Null Sector, maybe we can save the city.
Coming through!
Been a while, Vivian.
As if I didn't have enough problems already.
So we fly up there, smash through anything that gets in our way, and put another business.
I hate to interrupt the moment, but I'm picking up reports of more attacks in other cities.
It's a fight they want. I say let's give it to them.
Engage. Target marked.
Time to create peace with bullets. Greetings.
Oh, yeah! Boom!
The world is counting on us.
Let's go.
Shall we do this together?
Fight with me!
Engaging.
Watch this! I saw that. Not bad.
World premiere.
What is this place? It looks like we're in a palace.
What the hell is going on? Who are these people?
No idea. But if they're attacking us, our only choice is fighting back. Hey, look over there! Can you get us out of here?
So you're telling me you're thieves who steal hearts, and you just happened to stumble into this world? The Rebel Corps will always help the Phantom Thieves, just as the Phantom Thieves have helped the Rebel Corps. Never forget that we're a united force who can rely on each other.
You should be grateful to have been made my subjects. But you're just mannerless little brats.
Unfortunately, returning will be no easy feat.
Somewhere deep inside, I know you realize things can't go on like this. So, will you take a stand beside us?
Yeah, let's show them what we got.
Humanity has always hunted for knowledge in the unknown. The wonder is, not that the field of stars is so vast, but that we have measured it. We're all here because we're committed to the biggest question of all. What's out there? You're part of Constellation now. Part of our family.
We do not fully understand all that is at work here.
No finer group in the stars to be unraveling this mystery.
I'll follow you from here on out, Captain.
Grab jump is ready. I love this part.
These artifacts could be everything we've been looking for. Another great secret the universe is asking us to unravel.
Human settlements throughout the galaxy could be at risk.
We are not stopping. Whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever. This is where we belong.
Hi. I'm very excited to be returning as Johnny Silverhand in the upcoming expansion for Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. This new adventure reunites Johnny and V on a dangerous spy mission and introduces Idris Elba as Secret Agent Solomon Reed. It's really amazing to share the screen with you, Idris. It's cool to be a part of this game with you, man. As a player, you'll get to visit Dogtown, an unexplored part of Night City, and rescue the President of the new United States of America. Expect a massive expansion, twists, secrets, and plenty of stuff to do. I know the team at CD Projekt Red just keeps raising the bar when it comes to telling cinematic stories in video games. And I really can't wait for you to play it on Xbox Series X and S. But enough talking. I'm guessing you want to see for yourself. And so it is my honor and pleasure to give you and introduce the official trailer for Phantom Liberty. Check it out.
There's gotta be a way out of this.
Johnny, I'm dying. There's nothing can stop that.
V. My name is Songbird. I'm an NUS intelligence analyst. I know about the bomb ticket in your head. And I can save your life.
What's the catch?
I need you to get to Dogtown.
Attention all Dogtown residents. The President managed to crash her Space Force One into our humble district.
Man's got 1,001 reasons to want Myers as a hostage. Sleeper agents. Time to wake them up.
So NUSA's tossing us back into the fray, huh?
Stay sharp. We're in the wolf's den now.
Get Myers out of there.
Time to evac.
Her safety is the top priority.
Shit! They catch us out here, we're dead.
Wait, hear that?
God almighty! It's moving! Run! This way! Quick!
Someone ratted us out.
You know, V, treason ain't ever black and white.
It's a charade, V.
Wherever she goes, people get hurt. Bodies drop.
Just want what Songbird promised me. The cure.
The situation's changed. You need to know if you're with me.
Illusion of freedom draws in the desperate. Pick your truth, V.
Come on. Got iron in your hand. Gotta put it to someone's head. Pull the trigger.
If I don't do anything, and do it soon, I'll die.
僕を覚えてるか？
国民の信託を最も集めし者が次なる王となる資格を得るものとする。
陛下のお命が奪われるなど。
汝定めを課せられし子よ、憂いを抱える旅人よ。
こいつが俺の凱旋者だ。
果たして誰が次の王か。
己自身に命じなさい。内なる英雄の姿に変われと。
真の王を志すならば打ち勝ってみせよ。
僕のいる世界の出来事は君にとっては絵空事。
まさか人間？
この国は今有史以来の危機にさらされている。どうやら面白い力を手にしたようだ。
主君に捧げると決めた覚悟そのものだ。
これこそ人間の真実だ。
道は二つに一つ。
またあったね。やはり君は興味深い。
今こそあんた自身がそうなる番よ。
正義かどうかじゃない。
誰もが恐れと不安に負けそうで
理想を貫け。
何が正しいのかわからない。
全ての始まりはあなたの持つ小説。
幻想はただの絵空事なんかじゃない。
World premiere.
Humanity's cities have fallen. Our people's only means of survival is to seek sanctuary here, in the Belfry. You must explore this world to find the origins of this evil. And bring hope back to our people. Together, you can save humanity.
World premiere.
This city is a miracle of progress. A finely tuned, delicately balanced machine. But it only takes one rebellious little gear to ruin everything. If you resist my rule, if you alter our past, if you threaten what I have built, there is nowhere in space or time where I will not destroy you.
Oh no. What did I do?
Any last words before my friend puts one in your scalp?
Thank you all for joining us. Today is a special day for me and the team. I'm excited to see 11 games showcased from our first-party studios. We opened with Fable from Playground Games, which will bring the franchise into the modern era while staying true to its British style and humor. Compulsion and In Exile shared their first original experiences since joining Xbox with South of Midnight and Clockwork Revolution. And we are thrilled at how Avowed is shaping up for release next year from the RPG masters at Obsidian. In addition to Avowed, our studios will deliver Hellblade 2, an all-new Microsoft Flight Simulator, Towerborn, and more in 2024. Later this month, players can look forward to Elder Scrolls Online Necrom and Sea of Thieves Monkey Island. As we look to holiday, we will launch Starfield and Forza Motorsport, both built for Xbox Series X, S, and PC. We are also honored to share 14 games today from our creative partners, like Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft Massive in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, 33 Immortals from Thunder Lotus, Kunitsu Gami, Path of the Goddess from Capcom, and more Persona games coming to Game Pass thanks to our continued partnership with Sega Atlas. I'd also like to congratulate the Studio Zero team on Metaphor ReFantazio. It's great to be able to premiere what is next from the creators of Persona here in our showcase. We are focused on putting our players and game creators first in everything we do. No matter if you choose to play on Xbox, PC, or over the cloud, all gamers are welcome here at Xbox. When it comes to our consoles, we have heard your feedback on two fronts. First, we have significantly increased our supply of Xbox Series X, making it easier for fans to find globally. Second, we know you've wanted more storage with Xbox Series S, and I'm excited to share we have some news there as well. And now for the one more thing you've all been waiting for. Prepare for the most comprehensive deep dive we've ever done for the biggest game we've ever built. So sit tight and enjoy Starfield Direct.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to Bethesda Game Studios.
You know, we've been so lucky over the decades to make the kind of games that we love here. And that's thanks to all of you, from the Elder Scrolls to Fallout. We love creating these worlds and playing in them just as much as you do. And throughout all that time, we'd often talk about and dream up the space game. What if we could take that feeling of being who you want to be and exploring a new world, but set it in space, where you weren't really limited in where you could go or what you could do? And that is Starfield. Obviously, we've come a long way since then with the games we've built, our technology, and all of us here in the studio. We've done so much together, but, well, we've never tried to make a game like this. Today, you'll get to hear from many on the team and see so much of what we think makes our game special. So let's jump in and take a look. Starfield is our first new universe in over 25 years, but it's still a Bethesda RPG through and through, where you step into a new world and you get that feeling of unlimited possibilities. But this time, it's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds. Because the choice of where to go, it's not ours, it's yours. And it wasn't until now that we had the technology to create it. From the rocks at your feet, to the mountains in the distance, to the people and creatures that live in these worlds. That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too. We realistically simulate the galaxy around you. Our next-generation lighting model uses real-time global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere. We also have an all-new animation system. And of course, you can play it in third person, and you can play it in first person. We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game given its scale. That usually involves exploring an area you've landed in. You can collect resources, do a mission, and maybe even stumble upon something unexpected. We do love stuff and all of the items allowing you to pick everything up, and you can view all that in your data menu. This is the hub for everything you're doing, from your skills to your ship, your missions, and your inventory. We love to pack a ton of detail in every object, from all of your weapons, to spacesuits, to food. We just obsess over the details, and food. We obsess over food. When you're done exploring, you can walk back or fast travel to your ship. We have companions and crew you can take with you. I left Vasco here back at my ship.
Welcome back, Captain Howard.
And he can even say your name. Let's head out.
Our mission was to convey the wonder and majesty of space exploration, to evoke the romance of the golden age of early spaceflight. And we've been referring to this approach as NASA Punk. This means a design language where the tech is advanced, yet still looks grounded and relatable.
For us, it's that contrast. That's where the visual interest is. Obviously the NASA, which is the rigid, hard, function over style, and then Punk, which is all about style.
You can see that visual style coming through in your ship. Your ship is your home for you and your crew. And like many of the spaces in our game, it has a slightly retro and analog touch a bit of lo-fi rather than sci-fi, where everything is well used, worn, and lived in.
Alrighty. What's the plan, Captain?
This is your star map. It starts with the planet you're currently on. You can see all of its info and resources. You can choose a landing spot or fast travel to known locations. Backing out further, you can view all the planets in the system. Obviously, the game is big, and it's here you can see planets that have key locations, missions, or life on them, versus the many planets that are barren but resource-heavy. Zoom out even further to see all the systems in this part of the galaxy. Here, you can plot a course to ones that are light years away. This uses your ship's grav drive to fold space and jump to these systems. And you will need to upgrade your ship and skills if you want to jump to the most distant ones. But for now, we'll plot a course to the Alpha Centauri system, where we can find the city of New Atlantis.
Welcome to UC Space. Maintain your current course while we scan your ship's cargo. Scan complete. You are cleared for landing at New Atlantis.
As soon as you land in a city like New Atlantis, your eyes are guided upwards to just these boundless, vast buildings.
It's the biggest city we've ever made, not just in size, but also in the amount of custom art, crowds, and quests.
So the main focus when we're designing a city is obviously what supports the story. We try and tell as many small stories as possible.
This is a colony war memorial.
It's a few moments of gameplay that make the space feel like it's full of real characters that are going about their day-to-day lives.
It's paralyzing if you really stop and think about it.
Buddy, it's coffee.
It's also where your adventure with Constellation begins.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
By the time you meet them, Constellation is sort of seen as this mythical group. Most people don't even know they exist anymore. They're the last true explorers in the galaxy, and they're trying to find the answers to some of humanity's biggest questions.
The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. The artifact. If you could place it on the table here.
Oh my god. Look at how it's coming together.
That means there's a set built by an intelligence outside the settled systems.
It's definitely an eclectic cast of characters. You've got Sarah Morgan, the ex-soldier and adventurer, now Constellation's leader. Mateo, the theologian who believes that there's definitely something else out there. Noel, the gifted scientist and Sarah Morgan's protege. And Walter, a very successful businessman in the settled systems and Constellation's financier.
Anything goes as long as you have the money.
There's also Vlad, the ex-pirate, Sam Coe, the former space cowboy, and Barrett.
You know what I hate about these pirates? Completely resistant to my otherwise irresistible charm.
The journey you take with Constellation is just the first of many you'll embark on. The Settled Systems is home to all kinds of different stories, people, and adventures for you to uncover.
The United Colonies is where you'll find New Atlantis, the first major human settlement in space. The people who live here value law, discipline, and the legacy of humanity. They consider themselves the true children of Earth.
You ever think of joining up with the Vanguard? Help the United Colonies, even get your UC citizenship?
New Atlantis isn't the only city within the United Colonies. The city of Cydonia on Mars to this day serves as the largest mining facility for the United Colonies. Beyond the United Colonies' reach, you might find yourself in a much more wild and independent coalition of star systems. This is Freestar Collective Space. The capital of the Freestar Collective is Aquila City.
The Stone Root Inn is an Aquila City fixture.
A ranger relies on judgment and intuition to do what's best for the people.
Neon started out as a fishing platform, but is now known throughout the settled systems as a pleasure city, where almost anything goes.
If you've got morality issues, this definitely isn't the job for you.
Ryujin is hiring the best and brightest of today for our future tomorrow.
Everyone has been chewed up and ground up by Neon.
Try not to get yourself killed, all right?
Outside the bounds of civilized space, there are still plenty of unclaimed systems to explore, but these areas are also home to the most hostile factions in the galaxy.
The great serpent hungers. All heathens shall be made dust in time.
A new face. Is this the face of a brave runner here to challenge the Red Mile?
They think the galaxy is theirs. They are wrong. It belongs to the Crimson Fleet. It always has.
In Starfield, we're pushing our cities and settlements further than we ever have before. It's all there, waiting for you. A slice of humanity's future.
So, ready to get out there?
Throughout the galaxy, there are so many things to see and stories to experience. But the most important story is the one that you tell. I'm the type of person who spends hours in character creation, and I think people are going to be really excited when they see all of the improvements we've made.
One of the biggest overhauls was done through our character generation system.
We scanned a wide range of faces from different age groups and ethnicities, and by mixing and matching out that data, we were able to create highly detailed and diverse characters.
We use that exact system to create all of the characters and NPCs you're going to see in the game. So any character you see almost always is a character you could make yourself.
Snap out of it!
Hey, come on, come on. Okay, take it easy. You were out cold. No physical damage. Mentally, the jury's still out. You know who you are? New recruit for Argos Extractors? Ring any bells? Any of this look familiar?
You start your character creation journey as though you're cycling through employee records. You'll pick from a lineup of 40 presets, and that'll be your starting point. Your journey from there can be as detailed or as quick as you want it to be. This new system has more to offer than ever before.
It's also the simplest character generation system we've ever had. We let the player get as close as possible to make whatever they want. With the various facial morphs you can blend together, the dermesthetic and makeup, blemishes, scars, piercings, teeth settings, it's a lot, but I think it's the most fun to use.
Character creation is more than just how you look. This is also where you start to decide who you want to be. That's where backgrounds come in. Backgrounds give you a bit of backstory and start you out with 3 basic skills.
From chef to Dusty. You know, the crew still has a betting pool about which restaurant critic you must have crossed to wind up here.
What's great about backgrounds is you never know when yours is going to come in handy. You could be in the middle of a fancy restaurant talking to some guy, and suddenly you learn he needs a beast hunter to help track down a monster.
Fine. I probably should stick to professionals anyway, given what happened the last time.
We're also giving you the option to customize your build even further by letting you pick up to 3 traits. Traits are completely optional, and they come with their own advantages and disadvantages. You could choose to meet your biggest fan.
By Vectera, by Vectera! Is it really, really you?
He'll join your crew, and he'll give you gifts if you're willing to put up with his constant commentary.
I can't believe I get to stand near you, breathing the same air. I've got to have every molecule.
My favorite trait is kid stuff. You have to pay some credits to support your parents, but they're very sweet, and it's really fun to go visit them.
Honey, we got ourselves a visitor.
Oh my god!
I came across some hostile zealots in space, but because I had chosen a trait that made me the same religion as them, I was able to get by without any issues.
There's another great one that gives you a damage buff when your health is low, but mercenaries will randomly show up and try to kill you. No matter what you choose, there will be plenty of ways for you to tell your story. And if you want to remove a trait, there are ways to do that too.
What a view! It's a feast for the eyes. Off we go to another adventure.
We'll let you discover that on your own.
Once you've built the perfect character, that's when your journey can really begin. We took what we loved about skills and perks from our previous games and put them together to create an all-new skill system. Each time you level up, you get a skill point, which can be used to unlock or rank up skills. Ranks are unlocked by completing challenges associated with that skill. Challenges become increasingly difficult as you work your way to higher ranks. With our 5 different skill trees and 4 ranks per skill, there's a lot to choose from.
I like the Xenosociology skill because it lets you mind control aliens.
Boost pack out of the gate. I'm boost packing everywhere.
I like maxing out my physical tree so I can get neuro strikes and just punch my way through combat. That one's a lot of fun.
Invest in the skills that suit your playstyle.
I'm very much a stealth player. So, I'm out there pickpocketing everyone. My favorite part about being stealthy is slowly creeping through vents like you're in a movie, and then jumping out and springing on people.
Whenever possible, I like to talk my way through situations.
This area's off limits. Fine, I'll issue you an access card.
I'm more of a run and gun player. I like doing the death from above thing where I boost pack over guys and I throw landmines at them. I like blowing stuff up.
Exploration is a key aspect of all our games. In Starfield, there are full star systems with new life, resources, and adventures. Our team worked hard to strike a balance between fun and realism. We studied data from NASA and a multitude of other sources to help us make the world feel believable. From the way we approached planetary atmospheres to the way we placed biomes based on the planet's distance from the sun. Once we had created a grounded world, we could start looking at all the things that make that world fun. When you leave a planet and head into space, you'll be navigating asteroid fields, having chance meetings with interesting strangers, dogfighting in space, and exploring derelict ships. It's all out there. Ultimately, it's about rewarding your curiosity, because whether it's on the surface of a planet, the alleys of a city, or the vastness of space, you never know what you'll find.
Space exploration is possible thanks to your ship.
Your ship is almost like having another character or home you can make all your own. I think you'll be blown away by the amount of stuff you can do. You can buy a ship.
I'm sure you can find something you like.
Customize and upgrade that ship. And hire a crew to keep it up and running. And it all starts in spaceports. Every spaceport has a ship technician where you can purchase, sell, and modify ships.
Anything I can help you with?
Maybe you start off with a speedy fighter that's perfect for bounty hunting. Then you might round out your ship roster with a hulking space freighter to run cargo missions, or even do a little smuggling. For now, though, we're going to take our starting ship, the Frontier, and make some changes. You can customize and upgrade everything you see here, and you have two ways to do that. You can quickly upgrade individual systems like your weapons or shields, or you can deep dive and enter the shipbuilder mode. Here you can change anything, from the systems to the look and layout. Adding a new habitat module can give you more room for crew. Adding cowling can change your ship's overall silhouette. An improved grav drive allows for longer distance space jumps. You can even fully customize your paint job to get the exact look you want. The parts you choose to build with don't just affect your ship's stats. They'll also affect what you can do inside your ship. You can have modules for crafting or for storing and displaying your weapons. Starfield's in-game ship manufacturers bring their own look and feel to every piece of your ship. From living quarters to cargo holds, mess halls, and control rooms. Our modified Frontier is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals. The HMS Platypus, as I called it, where it had a giant tail to it. And we've done spiders, we've done mechs. So it's really whatever your imagination is.
And while you can build your home among the stars the way you want to, you're probably not the only person who will call your ship home.
Ready to lift off when you are, Captain.
Engines ready.
The Frontier is fueled and ready, Captain.
Some of the members of Constellation can join you on your journey. These companions can serve on your crew, and they'll always be there when you travel.
We'll be traveling together until we either find an artifact or this lead runs dry.
Each companion comes with their own valuable skills for your ships and outposts, as well as unique quest lines. Eventually, some friendships might blossom into romance.
I don't know that I've ever really loved anyone except you.
And if you're looking for a little extra help on your ship, you can always hire additional crew at spaceports.
Got any room on your ship for someone like me?
You'll also meet potential crew members out in the world.
Still think there might be a spot for me on your ship? I gotta get off this rock.
Assign crew to your ship or outposts, and their unique skills will affect how they run. And just like companions, most crew members can lend a hand in the field. Take Bosco, for instance.
He's designed around the core basics of a NASA machine.
Please avoid getting shot. You might die.
I still wanted to give it almost a humanoid personality, so I elongated the limbs. This tends to make him feel more human-like and give him a little personality.
It is a shame exploration requires so much bloodshed.
Using the shipbuilding tools and crew selection features in Starfield, you'll be able to build and captain the ship of your dreams. And now, let's take to the sky.
We're putting you in the cockpit of your very own spaceship and telling you that you can do
pretty much anything. And that is really cool for us as developers. Spaceflight should be exciting and dangerous, and you should feel like you're in complete control every step of the way. We've extended that sense of control to ship combat. It's not about just hitting your triggers to fire your weapons. It's a complex dance between your piloting skills and our power allocation system. Boosting power to your engines will make your ship faster. Powering up the ground drives will shorten the amount of time it takes before you can make a jump. And moving your power to your weapons and shields means you're ready for a fight. You should always be on your toes because you're not alone out there. Unlocking the targeting control system skill will allow you to zero in on specific subsystems of the ship you target. After destroying an enemy ship, you can loot the remains from your cockpit. You can always turn any ship that engages you into scrap. But you can also take a more personal approach by docking with the enemy vessel and boarding their ship. Once you've taken control of an enemy ship, it's yours. Add it to your fleet and retrieve it at any spaceport. But space is way more than fighting for your life. Just like when you're planetside, there are plenty of sights to see and stops to make on the way to your next adventure. Like these massive star yards. Walk the halls, talk to the crew, maybe get talked into buying a whole new ship.
A civilian in my star yard. Let's see about getting you a proper ship, one worthy of you.
Maybe you'll dock with a gigantic battleship, like the UC Vigilance. Or rub elbows with the galaxy's wealthy elite on a cruise ship fit for the stars. There are plenty of personal encounters to be had as well. You can hail any ship you come across to trade, swap info, or maybe even commit an act of piracy.
Let's do this.
When I'm playing, I generally go crazy. I definitely go like the more piracy routes. I want to take over ships. I'm going to board ships. I'm like, this is now mine. I steal all the sandwiches and put them, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out and just start taking things from people as quickly as possible.
Some strangers might be looking for a little human connection in the darkness of space.
Hello, stranger. I just finished cooking up some food. If you want to come on over, just pop on by.
Some of the best moments are the ones you discover on your own. The thing I love most about Starfield is that it is a Bethesda game through and through. It's really about going to strange new places, meeting interesting people, and getting sidetracked on zany adventures. Then realizing 2 hours later that you're involved in a completely new story.
You're human. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
That DNA is so present here. It's in our random encounters, it's in our handcrafted quests, and it feels so cool to play it and just make your own path in this universe. There are over 1,000 planets out there, just waiting for you to visit. We want you to feel like explorers, breaking ground on new planets, exploring every inch of a mostly untouched galaxy. We want you to feel hopeful. We want you to feel this sense of awe and wonder, and sometimes a little fear. We're giving you a massive playground and a ton of toys, and just setting you free.
Hey everybody, we've shown you so much stuff, but we thought we'd just take a little break and show you something a little bit different. You know, we put so much detail into our game worlds, and we love the opportunity to bring that into the real world with our collector's editions. And for this game, we've done a watch. It is the Constellation Explorer's Watch. This is the watch that you actually get in the game that acts as part of your HUD, where it's the compass and then environmental information. It connects to your phone to give you notifications and other information. And we've also designed this really cool case that it comes with, Istvan.
Yeah, we really took as much care in designing this case as we did the watch. Our attention to detail in the game totally translates to this. Inspired by the cases that the astronauts used during the Apollo era to bring back samples from the moon. It's got an intricate locking mechanism, authentic, heavy, comes with a Constellation patch, NATO strap, and the overall functionality and believability of this as something that would exist in the world, in the Starfield universe.
Oh, and hey, take this. You'll find it very useful out there, and it even tells the time.
We actually have something else. Now that we're part of Xbox, we get to work with the amazing people on the Xbox hardware team, and together we have created this custom limited edition Starfield controller. It's awesome. It is now, you know, our favorite controller.
We love this because it's inspired by the actual controls of your spaceship. And not only that, we've created the first ever custom headset with Xbox. And this is a perfect pairing with that controller.
Control, this is Constellation Starship Frontier. Ready to start on your signal. Steady till ready. Coordinates input. Plotting jump course. Guidance has converged. Getting auxiliary reactor power. System checks are green across the board. Prepare for departure. Ground jump commencing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In every one of our games, we always put so much care into all those little details that breathe life into our worlds. But Starfield isn't just a Bethesda Game Studios world, it's a Bethesda Game Studios galaxy. So why go this big with Starfield? Because we want to give you freedom on a galactic level. The freedom to experience both the exciting planets and the quiet ones. Scanning a planet before you land is a great way to get a sneak peek at the available resources you can use for crafting, building, and customizing.
I think what's cool about this whole system that we generate the planet itself as a procedural content, but the handcrafted content itself comes as the player explore. Our system builds the planet as the player approaches it. We stitch together a block of terrain. After that, we have the system that adds interesting locations for the player to explore, creatures to encounter, ore and plants to pick up. It allows us to add that touch of environmental storytelling that Bethesda is known for.
Aggressive creatures have been disrupting our experiments. Their habitat isn't far from here. If you could take care of them for us, we would be in your debt.
So even if your friends were to visit the same planet that you had, you would have a different story to tell.
It's completely up to you how you want to interact with each planet, whether you want to explore and see what you can find, harvest resources and be on your way, or simply take in the views. With the help of your scanner, you'll chart the uncharted and discover exotic wildlife.
If you have the skills, you can even figure out that certain creatures and plants, you can build an outpost and produce resources from those plants and animals. You can get experience and rewards for fully surveying planets and fully surveying a whole system.
When we were concepting these creatures, we really wanted to think of them as natural to the environment. We didn't want alien monsters, we wanted native wildlife. Something you've never seen before.
When it comes to our exteriors, when the sun moves, all that light is calculated in real time through the atmosphere. Our biggest goal for lighting with Starfield was to make the game feel more filmic, to use lighting and color to really make it feel more cinematic.
After some exploring, you can find a spot to set up a base camp. Outposts can be built almost anywhere on any planet. And the habitat modules come in all shapes and sizes, filling all different purposes. You can even live in them. Assign crew and companions to work at your outposts for added bonuses and set up extractors to harvest resources while you're away.
Something cool we have this time is we have a new fly cam where you can toggle between on-foot building, or you can now use a top-down isometric camera, which helps plan out larger parts of the outpost and placing those larger halves. So that way you can really plan your structures and what the overall feel of your outpost is. And then when you're on your feet, you can really decorate and fine-tune things much easier.
Add crafting and research stations in your outpost to utilize any resources you find or already have.
Mod your weapons to adapt them to your playstyle. Different weapon sights and scopes, larger magazines, a selection of grips and barrels, different ammunition like explosive rounds. All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor. You can also choose to go hands-on with melee weapons.
I think it's always a delicate balance between like what's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood. And I think we sort of err on the side of like what's fun for the player.
With Starfield, we've completely overhauled our combat. It's more dynamic, the animations are more fluid. It just feels great.
We probably have more mods and more weapons in this game than I want to say any other game we've done before. There's a lot of variety.
Upgraded gear is just one of the many factors to pay attention to when engaging in combat. You may need to switch things up based on your environment. Gravity is different for each planet, and boost packs are excellent for getting around. And for giving you an edge in combat. Sometimes you'll even feel like you're flying. Zero-gravity environments pose a different challenge. Firing a ballistic weapon in zero-G will actually push you backwards. Energy weapons, on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting experience.
We also have mag weapons. These are high-powered electromagnetic induction ballistic arrays. Each barrel has its own targeting laser and can dish out some serious damage. Whether you want to get up close and personal with your own two fists, or Or you like more compact weapons like pistols and submachine guns. Or maybe you prefer something bigger. Starfield's got you covered.
Thanks again for being with us today. We are just so grateful that you've taken the time and spent it here. I know there was probably a lot to take in. There's a lot to the game, even more than we could show here. You know, as we play it, we're always sharing these unique and special moments that only a game like this can bring. When I think about what makes it special, it really is the people here. This game is a reflection of the incredible and passionate team that made it. All of them putting something special of themselves into it. So let's hear some of their favorite moments.
I love the way that our final combination of all the new tech has come together to create some of the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises we've ever had in any of our games.
I love the creatures, the exploration, every biome is different. The word that comes to mind is vast.
I like to use our photo mode to take rock star photos.
I just love that constant feel of discovery and, wow, I can't believe that there's more here.
I'm most excited about our outpost building systems.
My favorite part is every time you step out on a planet, it's a unique experience.
You spend all this time building your ship, and you see it on the landing pad. These things are gigantic. It's the kind of thing that you just can't get anywhere else.
There's something about seeing a tower over in the distance and going, I know the gravity's low here. I think I can make that jump.
My favorite part is biomes, spaceships,
audio design,
planets, the day-night cycle.
Those details matter to me.
Diplomacy, exploration, freedom, the ending.
Vasco, obviously.
I love the robot so much.
The incredible amount of worlds we created.
Sniper rifles, come on.
Lever action, rocket launcher,
Brain sprout. I love, but some people might find creepy. I don't know. I know it's right, Ben. The thing that I enjoy most about the game is the freedom to be who you want to be, do what you want to do. It's what you've come to expect from a Bethesda title, but on a much bigger scale.
On behalf of all of us, we can't wait for you to play Starfield and make your own special moments.
Main engines go. Good luck, Constellation.